Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic, and welcome to this Sunday night edition of the Wacky Woo. With me tonight, of course, is the one and only. He's back, JSnip4. You can find him on his YouTube channel. Joe, welcome back. How are you, man?
Pretty darn good. Finally over this little sickness, pretty much.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And congratulations on your latest wedding anniversary. I know you missed the show 2 weeks ago, and a man has to do what a man has to do. So congratulations to both you and
I was like, oh, that's Sunday. Oops. Yeah.
Oops. Yeah. So welcome back, Joe. Happy to have you on. And folks, please join me also in welcoming first time back here for the Wacky Woo Reboot edition. Of course, it's Richard, the Woo Woo Dude himself. You can find him at woowoodude.com. Richard, welcome back. How are you?
Good. And hello to everybody.
Excited to have you on, and thank you everyone for joining us here tonight, of course, on this live interactive show. We're already at 6,000 almost there on Rumble, and we are currently triple casting, guys, but we will be having to cut the YouTube here very shortly. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please mosey on over to the Rumble feed, or perhaps the Twitter feed as well here for the No Holds Barred conversation. Guys, while beginning the show, let us know where you're watching from. I see Michigan there in the chat already. Hello, Michigan. Santa Barbara, Peru. Holy shit. Nice to see all you guys. Hey, guys. Joe, let me start with you. You haven't been on here in the last 2 weeks. What would you say is the biggest outcome from this election? What struck you? What's out of the blue? What's out of place? What do you want to share with the audience here before we start getting too deep into things?
I don't know that anything's out of place per se. Just that, there's this slow counting on over 20 congressional seats, and they just, when they're done counting, Democrat, it's kind of how we're it's looking right now. But I will say, Dick Allgaier in particular, he goes, man, I saw caught red-handed. So we saw Trump get in. There's nothing. He's not complaining about anything. He's happy. So there's no need to caught red-handed anything with him. But there's some of these Senate seats and other seats that are like, okay, so you mean to tell me we voted Trump there, but the Senate candidate lost? We didn't vote for them, right.
The math
in particular, yeah. So, I think there's some of that going on. Not exactly not expected, but I'm hoping that it's like they saw. It's time to catch them with their pants down, so to speak.
Yeah, Richard, you haven't been on for a while too. I wanted to ask you. I did a video a couple of days ago called "Trump Wins and What's Next." And then I also, as the Washington Post was asking us, kind of went back and revisited the Trump Nazi allegations. And it was funny enough, as I'm looking at the big map here, we went through months and months and months with all these Nazi blitzkrieg type of articles and propaganda, mainstream news. And from what I gather here, most of the American public didn't buy that shit. And so now they're in scrambles, and they're realizing that the propaganda arm is no longer working. On one hand, that's very exciting, but I think perhaps even more exciting is the fact that people didn't buy it. So there's this breakdown of the matrix, so to speak. And a couple of weeks ago, Hillary Clinton was out saying, hey, we need more censorship, otherwise we're losing control. And Cliff had said to us, yeah, that's a temporal marker. We're moving into sci-fi world here, and we're also moving kinetic after this, suggesting that the MK Ultra portion of this war or contention was no longer working. So let me ask you the same question here. As we just move past a week past almost here, the election, this huge upset for the Democratic Party, but this huge awakening, what's good, what's the bad, and what's the ugly? What do you say, Richard?
The good is, obviously, he won with a landslide. So there's no way to mess with that. It's just we've got to deal with the next 60 days or so, 65 days or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. With what you're seeing right now with the Senate races and everything that's going on that's being delayed, I think that's wonderful. For the reason is once this all sorts out, they're going to be able to catch every single one of those people doing what they've done. You don't think they've got surveillance up or everything? Mm-hmm. Trust me, you're not going to be able to hide anything. So they're all making an incredible mistake, but I also understand that they don't want to leave. Mm-hmm. And if everybody thinks that, everything is wonderful now because it's all over, no, it's just begun. Okay, we got a space here. So I've got a funny thing I want to ask you too, and the audience too. if you have a vision of something, all right, and you see it, and you know it's going to happen, right? You see it, you're foretold, you see it. Do you believe that you have the ability to change what you've seen? Go ahead.
I mean, it depends on, for me at least, I would think it would depend on what I saw. If it's something I felt that I could change, then the answer is yes. But if some, for example, some big war coming, how could I stop that? Like I couldn't
All
see
right.
that.
So
Can I also
yeah, go
answer?
ahead. Go ahead.
I would be leaning cautiously optimistic to the yes, we can change it, merely for the fact that we are part of this group consciousness. And the more consciousness puts its focus on something, the more it has the ability to move that needle. Now, depending on how far that needle had moved before we are aware and bring our attention and vote to it, maybe is the disclaimer there, but I would vote yes. Richard, go ahead.
Okay. So this is a rabbit hole we're all diving down right here. And, Joe, what you just said, obviously, there's certain things that are so big that unless you're in that group, how could you change it? So I get it. And I get what you're saying, JC. All right. So here we go. This happened to me last week. I've been working out in my backyard, and I needed to order some gravel to finish off some of my landscaping, little 3/4 inch. All right. And I've been dealing with this company for 8 years, big company. So I put the order in, and they said, yeah, you'll get that tomorrow. Everything's fine, So I'm getting ready to go to bed. Then all of a sudden, whew, I see it. And that's just the way visions are with me. I mean, it's like I just see them in front of me. It's a very strange thing. And I go, oh my God, they're going to deliver me big rock. I said, holy shit, I've got to stop this. All right. So I go to bed. That's how I couldn't sleep at all last night. Do. Literally, I stayed up because I knew that this company at exactly 7 a.m. in the morning, those trucks are moving. It's a huge company, huge. Okay. I mean, so I didn't sleep. So early in the morning, I called Julian. I said, oh, my vision, da. And I said, yeah. I says, I couldn't sleep. I told my daughter. But I called them. I got them at like 5 minutes of 7. I knew I had that narrow. And I caught it. Whew, everything's pretty cool, right? Now, the order's supposed to be up in the morning. Now, I'm telling you, these guys are clockwork. 10 goes by, 11 goes by, noon. I'm going, what the hell's going on here? I get a phone call. Hey, Richard, yeah. The truck's missing. It must have broken down because what I ordered, being a small stone, it's put onto a smaller dump truck. I ordered 12 yards. I go, oh, shit. He says, well, listen, we could get up there tomorrow, but understanding that means I got to waste another whole day waiting, right? Now, I can't do anything. So I hang up. I think about it for a minute. I go, screw it. I call him up. I said, hey, if I take one of your big trucks, 18 yards, this is a big truck. Okay. I said, can you get it up to me today? They said, yeah, but you sure you want to do that? We'll have it up there tomorrow. I go, oh, no, send it up to me. Send it up to me. And so the truck arrives and I'm out there. You can't see in it. You can't see in it because it's huge. Backs up to where I want it. Load starts coming out. It's all stones this big. 18 yards of it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it looks beautiful. So it's pouring out the back end, and I'm laughing my nuts off. Right? You'd think I'd be like, bullshit. I'm just laughing. I go, well, Spirit, I guess you guys really wanted me to have the bigger stone, right? But so my question is, I was 100% aware of the vision. I did everything possible to stop it from happening. A truck breaks down and has never, ever broke down. And then they made a mistake and put big stone in it. So that was something that I could control. It wasn't like the big war, but yet it still happened. So now, what do you say to your answers that you gave me earlier? Because I've got a follow-up with that.
Okay.
Well, so
Joe?
I mean, I'm a big believer in everything's meant to be. You know, sometimes when things just happen, it's just meant to be. That's, you know, so it was meant to be that you got those big stones. That's how I would look at it.
That's
You're
not
setting me up for a weird joke, but I won't go there about Richard having.
Not until you're on Rumble can you do that.
Okay.
So,
Keep going, Richard.
So then, what do you say? What do you say to that?
Again, I would say it's dependent on the situation, and my previous answer had to do with mass consciousness. So you are one piece of consciousness trying to affect the reality, as opposed to everybody in your neighborhood having the same conscious effect on moving the dial. So it doesn't really equate to my first answer. In my first answer, I thought global consciousness coming together, just like when we do all of these experiments on the random generator calculator stuff, when humans put their attention to it, the needle does actually move. So I still stick with my answer there on the general thing.
Okay. So let's back the ship up.
Okay.
It was December of 21. I was on your show. Joe, you, and Penny was on the show. Okay. And I gave out information at that time that the NWO did not stand for New World Order. It started back in the bushes, and it stood for the Nazi World Order. And then immediately, I said to you guys, because a vision came across, I saw me in a hospital with tubes up my nose. Basically, I'm dead. And I said on your show, I said, shit, they're going to kill me. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And like, you kind of laughed like that. And then you went, huh? Because I meant it. I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then I asked Penny, I put her on a spot. I said, do you see me with the Dunkachino in my hand on New Year's Day? Because I saw what I felt was my death on New Year's Day. And she goes, yeah. But I threw her on a spot. And in my head, I'm going, that's a strong vision I just saw. So fast forward it, just 2 days later, I come down with an incredible sickness. You guys remember. Mm-hmm. And I remember Cliff giving suggestions, trying to keep me alive too, giving me, certain types of medicines to take. And I appreciate that. And I was doing large dosages of stuff. But I ended up getting rushed into the hospital on New Year's Eve. So here I am going in a hospital knowing that, well, I knew that they were going to kill me. So, I figured this is it, right? And so I'm in a hospital, and Spirit told me that they would take care of everything. But yet I had that vision. Did I see myself dead? No, but, And then what's the first thing they stick into me is a bag of remdesivir. I got 3 bags. I got 10 days worth of remdesivir, right? Now, during that moment up there, I'm getting visions that are just unbelievable. I never slept. Didn't fall asleep once up there. And I remember Joe calling me while I'm in the hospital bed. And he knew I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even breathe, And he says, holy shit. And so he says, I'm going to let you go. I said, yeah. And then I didn't know about this. He went on your show, and all of you guys came together, and you did a spiritual bowl, right, to save my life. I didn't know anything about that. I'm talking to Joe. I think it was 2 days after that, when you guys did that for me to save me, that I said, Joe, some real weird shit's been going on up here. You know, I'm on a top floor in an isolation ward in the middle of winter, and I'm seeing sparks bouncing off my window. And then another group of sparks that come off my window.
And this was right at the same time we were doing the healing bowl singing meditation, healing.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
So then I'm finally released after 12 days. They figured they couldn't kill me anymore with that remdesivir, right? So they sent me home, and the spirit tells me, turn on to your channel and listen. The minute I get home, so I sit down and I listen, and I saw what you guys did. I wept because I realized that you guys stopped something from happening, okay? So I believe collectively that spirit is real. And when you put the emotions and the love into that, that you can actually change the outcomes of things.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, what just happened last week was a very interesting test that was real.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we all hope that when we give certain information out, like what's going to come out in a little bit, that with what's given here between all of us, that somehow it gets out there and it doesn't happen.
Right.
All right. So that's our goal, not to go, oh, he's wrong, it didn't happen. No, collectively, we brought this out. And the key is there's nothing better than being 100% wrong
Mm-hmm.
of something that you see.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But you're doing it for a purpose. And that December night, when I said, my God, they're going to kill me for the Nazi. After that, that went everywhere. And that's all we could hear about. Nazi, 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 you know. And I believe what's going to come out here, and Joe even validated it today with something. He said, by the way, and he sent me something. I went, holy shit, it's already starting. So I take it this is probably when you need to
shift over.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you think, Joe?
Before I do that,
I love that guy.
Before we shift over out of YouTube here, first, let me bring the link down to you guys if you're on YouTube. But second, I want to say, like Richard, Joe and I have done that on a couple occasions. And we were astounded each and every time as to the impact it had, whether it was with you, with Penny Kelly, and a few times before that too. And we've realized how absolutely critical it is when we can bring people together for a common objective, bring that love energy, that healing energy, and how absolutely amazing the impact was, right? And we had validation. Penny Kelly had the same thing. Like she said, oh my God, these things were happening just as you guys were doing the meditation. And she found out the day after, her daughter said, did you see this video? It's at the exact same time as your thing happened. Anyways, so it's very powerful. And I want to touch your something else before we get off YouTube. We are often accused on this channel of, well, not often, sometimes accused of being too negative, because we look sometimes at the abyss, right? And as much as I can say to the audience members, yes, but there's a reason we're doing it. We're not doing it for the fear porn shock value. We're not doing it for the clickbait. We're doing it, like Richard said, so that we can bring it to our attention, bring it to global consciousness, and then together shift that needle in the direction that we want for humanity. So it's the opposite of the fear factor. It's the empowerment aspect of it. So very beautifully said, Richard. Really appreciate that. Guys, please join us now on the Twitter feed or the Rumble feed here for the rest of this amazing no holds barred conversation. I kid you not, is going to be a barn burner. So we'll say good night here to the YouTube feed. Yes, and yes.